get right to what America is talking about tonight, a press conference, mostly in search of questions and definitely in search of coherence or really anything relevant to your life. Donald Trump eventually took some questions after giving an unchained, unplugged version of his rally. All the while, he insisted he was perfectly in focus.
I think I'm doing a very calm campaign. I mean, we're here. There's no shouting. Now, you'll say he ranted and raved, and not you, but some of you will say he ranted and raved. I didn't rant and rave. I'm a very calm person.
But will voters care about any of this?
You're allowed to rob a store as long as it's not more than $950. Has everyone ever heard of that? You can rob a store, and you have these thieves going into stores with calculators calculating how much it is. You got windmills all over the place, and you have birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Just go under a windmill. You see thousands of birds dead. The cover of Time magazine, they didn't put a picture. They got a great artist to do it. What was that all about? You know, what was that all about? The whole thing is crazy.
The windmills and the dead birds continue to appear on this campaign. Trump says he's not ranting, but this press conference was a great example of a speech littered with all the things that he's been focused on for a long, long time. Is he capable, really, of staying completely on message here?
No, of course not. This was not a press conference, first of all. This was a campaign rally speech. He even had his supporters there at Bedminster, and he fooled the press once again, by claiming he was going to have a press conference. He spoke for 45 minutes before he even allowed a question to be asked. And when he did, he was just filled with lies over again. He made this comment about, what is it, more than 100% of new jobs that are created.
I'll play it. So just so you don't have to paraphrase what it was. Listen.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%.
Beyond a number of 100%.
I guess I need my calculator so I can go shoplifting with Donald Trump, because clearly you can't have more than 100% of jobs going to migrants. You can't even have 100% of new jobs going to migrants. It's not only mathematically impossible, it's just plain stupid. And how does this guy get taken seriously? How is it that he is a presidential candidate for the highest office in our country when he can't even complete a press conference without spewing lies and misinformation and obvious falsehoods?
If you want to talk about misinformation, we can talk about Kamala Harris's Google ads, like literally taking headlines from mainstream media and rewriting them, which should be against Google ads policies. But what's stupid is allowing people, criminals, to go into stores in California and not being able to arrest them unless it's $900 or $950 and more.
The problem is that that's not actually what's true.
And you see
That's not
videos
actually
of
what the law
people
is.
going into stores in these blue cities and blue states, stealing merchandise and not being stopped. We've all seen these videos.
So
but
should Donald Trump not be allowed to go into a store because he's a convicted criminal?
Well, I don't think anybody at this table should be surprised that Donald Trump stood up for 45 minutes, an hour or more, taking questions, giving a speech, because if you're holding your breath for an Oscar nod, that he did that. Don't hold your breath, because no one's going to believe you. This is what he does. He stands, he gives speeches, he takes the questions, he gives the answers. And to date, more than 3 weeks in, Kamala Harris hasn't given a single interview. She hasn't come on your program. She's not answering questions.
It's
She's
Kamala, first of all. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. And she's not yet the candidate. She's only been in office, the candidate for 3.5 weeks.
She's been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah, and Trump went a whole primary season without even doing a debate.
And
so,
half
you
of
know.
America
but you can't.
isn't stupid because the Republicans in this country
voted
for him, nominated him. She didn't earn a single vote in the Republican.
But
Republican
it's a false equivalence between what Donald Trump is doing as an autocrat as a fascist, as a
He is
dictatorially
not a
inclined
fascist.
man.
That's
the man's
that's crazy
aspirations
talk.
are huge. But the point is that Donald Trump has lied so repeatedly that we normalize his mendacity, his misogyny, his hatred for the ordinary citizen who happens to think logically about these issues. Now, he's got a whole bunch of stuff from the stores up there. He doesn't refer to it. His economic policies are vapid. They are empty. He has nothing to say to
She has
these
no
people.
policies on her website
And then
at all. She's got more
the
Zero
point is,
pronouns.
policies and 9
Donald
pronouns
Trump
on her website.
sits there and tells lie after lie, and he gets normalized by good people like y'all who don't call him out on his bull.
Kamala Harris has more pronouns on her website than she does policy. The only thing she has on there is donate. She's running a Seinfeld campaign. The show is about nothing.
No,
But-
absolutely.
And she's
Well,
winning,
so
right?
She's not winning,
No, but
actually.
she's aided and abetted by mainstream media. If you saw the headline by a neighboring network a couple weeks ago, when Donald Trump came out with his no taxes on tips policy, all of the headlines on mainstream media were derogatory. Kamala Harris comes out with her no taxes.
Kamala
Harris comes out with her policies on no taxes on tips, which is Donald Trump's policy, by the way. All of the headlines on mainstream media were positive and glorious and thoughtful.
I guess y'all are
It's
standing
just a
up for him
different
because he
standard.
didn't say any of this today.
Well,
Everything
this
you're
is
saying
this is
is
a
nothing
question,
he's ever said.
Congresswoman and Mark, I'll direct this at both of you. Donald Trump was supposed to give a speech
Right.
focused on the economy. He himself acknowledged he could not really help himself but veer into the personal attacks. This is what he said when he was asked about why he keeps going after Harris in these personal ways.
I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence. And I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called JD and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale.
A lot of people have been saying very publicly to Donald Trump, his allies, stop with the personal attacks. You have a lot to run on when it comes to the economy. That's what he was supposed to be doing today, but he's not.
We spent 45 minutes talking about the economy, the border, energy, all of those things in the first half of that news conference. And when he gets asked about the personal tax, when he gets asked about other issues, he answers those questions. But when you look at what he's talking about, whether it was yesterday, whether it's today, he's talking about the price of groceries that people can't afford because of Kamala Harris. He is Kamala, sorry.
Yeah,
and I didn't study how to say that. And I missed it up. I understand. My apologies.
Say it together. Kamala Harris.
I've been doing
Vice
this for
President
yes.
Kamala Harris at that.
But do y'all
And-
find it problematic that he attacks her personally? Do you find the ad hominem,
Well, I
ad
do
feminem
wonder about
attacks?
that,
Do you
Congresswoman.
find that
do
problematic?
you agree with people like Nikki Haley who say, move on from that stuff and talk about the issues that matter?
Look, I'm not going to do any pearl clutching here. I have had people come after me, 2 times a year in primaries and general elections. This is my 3rd cycle. Politics does get personal. And
Is it right? Is it right for him to be a misogynist? To direct commentary against
Donald
You called him a
Trump
fascist.
personally-
He's
Donald
You can
Trump-
call him whatever you want, but we can't
He
respond.
called himself
No,
a fascist. He
no.
said he was going to be a dictator on day one.
Right.
He's a
on the
father.
border. Come on.
He said he was
now.
going to
That's-
be a dictator
I'm
on
asking
day
y'all
one.
directly, do you find it problematic that this man deploys
A
ad hominem arguments?
misogynist would not ask a woman like me to come and speak on the stage at the Republican convention.
Absolutely,
he
all the
personally
time.
called me. He did that.
Individual
He is not.
women are not problematic to a
He wants
misogynist
to
who
protect
uses the
women, by the
category.
way. He put IVF into the Republican Party platform.
What he wants
put
to do is
contraception
grab,
into,
dispose, and-
the Republican
and
Party platform. He wants to protect women
Donald-
who've been raped.
wait a
He wants to protect children
If you're
and girls
telling
who are
me
victims
Donald
of
Trump
incest.
is a hero for women, when the manifest lack of integrity
Well, at
of
least
this
he
man
knows what a
against
woman
individual
is. I'm not even sure that Kamala
But grabbing
is.
a woman,
Kamala.
But look, grabbing a woman, talking about women in the way he does. I'm asking you directly. When you see him direct such venomous rhetoric against this woman, not principled disagreement, do you find that problematic? And if you don't, you've helped normalize a practice that is vicious and misogynistic,
Look,
regardless.
I-
Women can be misogynist too.
Let me let
Now, I am a
Congresswoman
woman
answer
who
that.
has broken a lot of glass ceilings,
Mm-hmm.
and I have fought my way to have a seat at the table. And I wouldn't back someone that I thought was a misogynist. And I fully backed Donald Trump in 2020.
All right, I want to play one more thing. This was Donald Trump, I guess, not really deciding whether he thinks that Kamala Harris is a radical leftist. Listen.
I believe she's maybe in many ways going to be worse because he wasn't really a radical left. The decline of America is being forced upon us by Biden and the radical left lunatics. He's following the radical left agenda. If he wins the radical left, we'll be running the country.
So is he radical left or not? I mean, what's the strategy for Republicans here? I mean, is Biden radical left, or is he not radical left now and she's radical left?
Well, the
Does it matter?
entire Democrat Party has been taken over by the radical left. They've abandoned the working people of America. They've abandoned the middle. They've now been taken over by California liberals who want the Green New Deal, electric cars, ban plastic straws. She wants to take away red meat. They're now going to institute government.
Are you saying that because you're associating her with?
No, those are the things she said. These are the things that
Green
she's
New
all
Deal
campaigned
policies?
for. These are all the things
To take away red meat.
Kamala has campaigned for: reducing the red meat, banning plastic straws, the Green New Deal. She's now talking about government price controls for groceries. She wants government housing. She's going to tell you where you have to live. These are all part of her radical socialist policies.
Government housing already exists.
Well, radical left would include defunding the police, would include when you were attorney general saying that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. Radical left would be raising your taxes. Radical left would be the appeasement strategy against Iran. Radical left would be placating to the Hamas wing of your party and people who are anti-Semites. That is radical left, and that is who she is.
And you know what? You know why she's so radical? That Donald Trump said today that San Francisco, the city where she's from, was a wonderful city 15 years ago. Guess who was the district attorney 15 years ago? Kamala Harris. Guess who donated $6,000 to Kamala Harris's campaign?
Guess who bailed
Donald Trump.
out
If he was such a radical San Francisco liberal, why did Donald Trump give so much money to her?
He's a businessman, and that's how you deal with it.
Maybe Donald Trump is a hypocrite.
I can tell you this. As a professor who teaches about radical progressives in this country, the radicals and progressives would laugh at you thinking that Kamala Harris is in any way a radical leftist. What she is a person who's concerned about ordinary citizens, about union folk, about middle-class people, about wage earners trying to go to work every day and help their kids. And if that's radical leftism, then let's embrace it. Let's all become Marxists.
Kamala Harris got ranked the most liberal senator in the United States of America, further to the radical left than comrade socialist Bernie Sanders. And so she's looking to the right to see him.
If you think that's raising the minimum
Everyone,
wage.
stick around for us. First of all, it'll be interesting. Bernie Sanders would be interested in hearing you say that, but everyone stick around. Coming up next, President Biden and Kamala Harris campaigned together for the very first time since he left the race. And the question now is, can she or will she separate herself from him?